Hey guys, Ken Perryman here, and I am back with something pretty cool. First things first. This is not sponsored. Nothing was given to me. I purchased all of this. Well, not all of it, because the shirt was free. So what did I order? I ordered this guy in this box, the Hyperflex and the manifold. What I got, in addition, which I thought was really cool of them, was a shirt. They asked me, hey, what free thing do you want to get? And there was a flag and a shirt and something else. And I ordered the shirt. They also sent, which I think is pretty cool of them, is a set of gloves. You know, you can actually have a pair just about like these that I use for maintenance, working on anything. If you're gonna do anything like recovery, put things together, you're gonna wanna have a little bit of protection on your hands and knuckles. And guys, this fits great. I like this. Not all of what they sent me was free. And I think this was pretty cool. I didn't tell them I do YouTube stuff or whatever, I do these things, and can you send this to me? And they said no, and then I was like, oh, I'll buy it. No, I just straight up got this. So unless they researched for some reason or something, they didn't, that I was some type of, I hate to say influencer, but you know what I mean, that I do stuff like this. So the other thing that they didn't know was they gave me this little dude right here. And I don't know if they knew or not, but very cool. It's a duck. Why is that important? Well, if you didn't know, I own a Jeep. And the duck world is synonymous with Jeeps, and you put them on your dash and stuff like that. But I do have one duck that I bought in Europe, but that's not the point. The point is, they gave me a free little duck. Maybe it's a safe assumption and they added it to the package, but that's what's really cool. They also added a couple of these guys in here, which are just some stickers. And it all came in a big cardboard box that I ordered. It came in through UPS. And they also ask you to leave a review. It says, welcome to the fam. Thank you for choosing Easy FLATE. We're the family-owned business based in northern Utah, and we're pumped to have you join our off-roading family. See what we did there. Yeah, pumped, yeah. So a lot more to it. I've done some research, nothing super in-depth with these guys. They are in Utah, I'm sure, but I believe this pump is made by a factory in China. I have to be sure about that. Many companies do that. They'll import something in there, they'll add some stuff to it or do some things that'll make it their own. However, not knocking it, I'm just saying is, I saw a couple people doing some in-depth reviews, and there's a lot of these pumps that are very similar to each other. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I love all this stuff. There is something special about this, and we'll get into that later when we actually test this out. Across all vehicles, they're designed in their size because of shapeage, volume, length, blah, blah, blah. They can only run somewhere right about 1 high something, like almost 2. Let's just call it round up to 2 CFM. This thing runs at 10.6 CFM. Don't use this at full blast. There's no full blast level setting. It's just don't plug this in and try to fill up one single tire. You're actually going to cause this pump to work extra hard and get super hot. It can only run about 2 CFM into that tire. Other than that, the other 8 or so that it's trying to do is basically back pressure, which can't create any more air pressure and can't push anything more through. It's going to result in heat and issues for your pump. One thing you don't want to do is you don't want this thing to get super hot for any length of time. It's going to get hot when it runs, but you don't want it to be hot. And that's why it runs. Also, it states of its 50% duty cycle, and I believe it was 30 minutes on. Let me read the instructions here. Basically 30 minutes off. It has a digital control board, and basically it is like Ron Pompeo, who sadly has passed away in 2021, but if you guys are old enough to know, he's the original set it and forget it guy. This is a set it, it literally says it right there, right on the top of the box. Set it and forget it. Set it to the PSI, plug it in. What I love is that this guy's gonna go off-road with me, and when I go off-road, and when anybody goes off-road, what do? You deflate to give yourself a little bit more of an impact, sponginess when you're driving over stuff. It's just a better cushion, a better ride, and also less jarring on your bones and body, and also less of an issue with your tires. Additionally, flatter tires allow those tires to reach around and grip onto things. So when your tire is super pumped up and flat, it's not gonna grab. If it's low and flat, you got a lot more surface area to grab a hold of those rocks, those other areas that you're trying to grab and climb and get on top of. This could be a mall crawler. This could be something simple that you drive around town, you make it look good, but you don't do anything super crazy with it. That's perfectly fine. But this is not necessarily intended for that. This is going to be riding in my Jeep because if you don't know, I've already gone camping with this thing quite a few times, and that is going to evolve into off-roading and overlanding and driving out to the sites and camping. I'm going to need to deflate my tires, and then I'm going to need to re-inflate my tires. Now, I have this really cool kit, put a little picture up here somewhere. It doesn't come with this, and it's not part of this company, but I had these really cool kits where you dial them up and you screw it into your valve stem, and it will automatically deflate your tires to a specific PSI. And that is pretty darn cool. They work really well for an analog device. Literally, enough pressure, turns off, and it shuts off. You can check that with your system. Your TPMS system, your tire pressure monitoring system, tells you in real time where your tire pressures are. So what did I get? What I purchased and paid money for was this FLATE MOAB. I'm ex-military, so to me, MOAB is mother of all bombs, but it's maybe mother of all blowers. It just means this thing is bad. It's an auto air system, meaning that it's digital. There's a digital screen in there. You set it, pump it to multi, and go. If you flip this to single, I think it's actually going to probably that's where it is going to dial itself down and try to inflate one tire and not try to send too much pressure through. One of the things too you'll notice in this system is this thing will also self-check itself. What does that mean? You'll plug it in, get it attached to the tires, and turn it on, and it goes, and then it stops. You're like, what the heck? It's checking its pressure. It'll equalize, because more importantly, especially if you're using this with the forward tire system, it actually will sit there and equalize. Hey, okay, because it's going to fill up all your tires the exact same. That's the cool thing about this guy with the HyperFlex. So what did I pay money for? The FLATE MOAB auto system, the HyperFlex hose system, and the manifold. They gave a great discount when you buy them all together. I think they were supposed to be 500 and some change, but I actually paid this much, and I'm probably doing something cool right there. Not right now, yeah, right there, cool. So let's check out from the smallest to the biggest. While it's the smallest, the coolest feature in here is this guy right here. Check it out. This is your FLATE HyperFlex air system. This basically inflates 2 tires and runs all the way up to the pump system where you might set on your bumper or towards the front of the vehicle, because you're going to plug this into your battery, so you need the engine bay open. And this is the other 2 sets of tires that run down along the system. Pretty darn cool. And really robust valve systems, a polymer air system hose that runs about 300 PSI max. This thing runs at a max of 150, but you shouldn't really be that high. I think those guys run at 27 PSI. So I'll bring them down to 10, 20 maybe, and then bring them back up to 27, 30 maybe. So you get this guy right here, and they're all wrapped and locked into the bag. Inside here, I actually had to go look for it for a minute. I was like, wait, I ordered this and I can't find it. There it is. This is how you can inflate and deflate your tires. If you don't plug this into this system, you can actually pop this down, let this run, check it, run these into these 2 lines, and you can deflate all 4 of your tires at the same time. Instead of walking around with those little valve things and screwing it into one and screwing it into another and then screwing it into another, and then, yeah, you get my point. And then waiting for them to all deflate at the same time. You're deflating all 4 tires. They're all connected into the same line going into this manifold system. Equalization will bring the pressure down to what you select, and it'll be that pressure across all 4 tires. It's not like maybe if you had those manual little setups that back here, and one's just got rained on or something, got a little rust in it, now it doesn't work, the valve doesn't pop when it's supposed to, and it shuts off at like 22 PSI, and the other ones are at like 18 or 17 or 16, and you're like, man, one of these tires is not getting any grip or doing anything. That's the reason. Really cool setup over here. I'm excited about this, guys. I'm going to give you this introduction. I'm going to have another one that talks through all of this as a setup. We're going to do that later when there's more light out and you guys can see what's going on. But right now, let's look at the biggest chunk of cost was this guy right here. And I love how this was packaged. I did open it for a second, but I closed it back up because I wanted to wait for you guys. Look at that piece of cardboard. Yep. Not even the Karate Kid could break that. That thing's bad. But wow. Every time I look at this, I love the buckles, the grips. These lock right into place. I think this is just going to pull straight out. Okay. And I believe this guy is 25 pounds. And let me show you all the way around. All 4 corners has this, and the bottom. So this box really is stout. But this is what we came to see. Wow. That's a big dude. That is a big dude. Okay, so nice little buckle system. You can cinch these down to lock it in a little bit tighter. You can loosen it up. Now the question is, can I put that in here? Because I would really like to have my systems all together in one spot. So unbuckle that, pop it open. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so it looks like I could put some stuff here. There are some wings, yeah, and then there is this. Okay, there's this kit. Maybe with this guy right here, you can fill up your inflatables, fill up your bike tire, fill up your soccer ball, your football, your inflatable wings or something like that. But the point is with that, is this compressor is gonna be like, and you're done, right? I think. So, nice, you can smell that. That's some nice, that smells like a car tire rubber. That's how well it smells. So this guy right here, great action. Oh, this is, yeah, okay, I get it. I get it now, Ken. Outside, and then the compressor line. Let me continue on because this looks like this only, this won't fit on this. This fills up my tire. This is the direct line that plugs into the compressor, and this goes right on the tire. This is your tire filling, single tire filling hose. Auto air instructions, same thing that it has on this. There's a card, but this is a piece of paper that comes with this. Okay, there it is. I get it now. I see it now. So I was like, where's the other hose? It's built into the system, guys. That's interesting. This is the first time I've ever taken this out of the box, but still has its plastic wrappings. Oh, okay, there we go. There's the handle. I'm going to take this out, set this over here. We'll go through that bag here in a second. This is a pretty stout setup. This is an Anderson plug. I remember these because of a battery setup for my place where I worked at. I had forklifts for the big old batteries, and they're obviously 3 or 4 times bigger than that. Positive, negative connections. So there it is. You have approximately 10 feet of cable. You do have this connection where you can take this off if you'd like to and connect another device or system to this. You could actually use this in another system. I have a battery system. It's 1,000 watts inside the vehicle, but the amperage that comes out of it is not going to be 30 amps. Yeah, so this thing runs at about 90 amps. You're going to want to run this off your vehicle's battery, and you're going to want to make sure that your vehicle's running when you're running this, because you're going to suck up a lot of juice, especially if you're inflating all 4 tires. Let's continue on since we're here. I'm going to go grab something real quick so we can continue the discussions or continue listening to me talk about everything. Ooh. Wow. Wow. So these are all zip tied together. Here is your air hose system. I actually have a thermal imager, so when I test this system, we'll be able to see what the temperatures are, generally speaking, right out of the air compressor, right over here with these guys right here. I love that these are all aluminum right here. Here's your air line. Since we're going through the entire system setup, let's break out the measurement device. This is 4 foot 11 inches, call it close to 5 foot, or 1,500 centimeters. This does metric too. Cool. Let's check the battery cable. I think it appeared to me to be about 10 feet, more like 8 feet. 8 foot of cable for your charging. Now, let me show it to you. We're gonna walk through this real quick. Check it out, it's got MOAB on the front. Looks like this is your pressure relief valve back here. Has this really nice handle. It rotates all the way around either direction. Metal all around. This housing is plastic, but metal all the way around. You have a controller here, plus or minus to set your temperatures, multi and single. You have a nice set of rubber feet down here. It's bolted. This has also rubber so that while this vibrates, it'll separate some of it from the plate. I'm sure this thing will still vibrate pretty well, but got a great feel to it, got some heft to it. It said 25 pounds, I believe. And what does it say on the back? Oh, 12, okay, model, this is 2201. That's interesting. Input current 90 amps. Airflow 10.6 CFM. Please use with a 12-volt battery only. So as I stated, this is the hose that it comes with. So if you're doing a single tire system, you'll plug this into the hose back here. Oh, those are crispy. They're nice. And then you run this all the way out to plug it into the valve of your vehicle. Actually, this one has its valve stem off, so... Oh, wow. That was cool. And it did inflate from the tire, and this is a pressure relief valve on the back. There's a little push button to release the pressure. I like that. I've not seen a lot of these features online when I've looked at them. So this is very interesting to see, and I'm very happy to see this. So, nice, chunky, very rubbery smell hose here. I'm curious, again, of would all this fit in that bag together? Whew. What do we got? You could pull these all the way down if you'd like. I think you need max maybe this much. These are some good quality jumper cables. They're pretty darn good. You could set those there if you'd like. A lot of times I'll actually take the positive without crimping the cable, but just set it here so they don't contact each other, but you're not jumping, so there you go. You could disconnect this and put this in that upper pouch, but there it is. This is the MOAB Auto Air System. Again, I'm talking about the pump. This was the largest price point of the whole setup. Then you have the Easy FLATE system, which was the second most expensive, and this was the third. Altogether, though, really nice. Do like that they come with batteries, so you're gonna have to make sure to keep an eye on those guys, because you know this is gonna be in the car for months and years. You're gonna go off-roading a lot one time, maybe you get a little bit of snow wherever you live, and you're gonna wanna deflate, which I like about this. And then you're gonna try and get them all back up. So keep a pair of double batteries around, and also keep monitoring this. Pull this back every so often, take a look. You don't want it to get corroded and get cruddy inside here. They're gonna go bad, pull them out, switch them out, but turn it on. It comes on with a little light. Set at 150 PSI right now. We're not gonna be that high. Manifold, and moving on, you have a Velcro attach point to your hoses here. Now we're gonna talk about the Easy FLATE HyperFlex hose system here. What I really like is they have these dust caps. These are what are gonna go onto your valve of your tires. You have your main connection, which will connect to that manifold right there. You can wrap these up and lock it into place. Take it off like so, but it's still attached to the bag. Loosen this up, pull this little hook out. Sometimes these guys are a little bit tricky. It's just, they're designed not to easily come off. Okay, and then what's really cool is how this is all set up. So let's go ahead and put these dust caps back on. They're really good quality, nice rubber here. Okay, here is your main hose system that you will connect to one of these. Boom, that is so nice. Some of them you had to pull in to get it to snap in. Not this guy. This guy will snap in and it locks in. It's done. Oop. And then you'll take this, run it to your front tire, disconnect your dust cap, plug this into your tire. And what I do like is that you do not need to plug this into the compressor when you're going to deflate. You pop that up. Let me make sure that's right. Yep. You pop it up and it allows the air to release from the tire. Pull it down to close it. Just remember though, when you're doing this compressor, open it back up so that the flow can go back in and fill up your tires. While you're deflating, you'll pop this open, you'll hear your tires deflating. I suggest two things. Number one, this will inflate and deflate at a maximum speed. And I say inflate because this guy's 10.6 CFMs. This is going to outrun the inflation of your tires. The nice thing is if the system's consistent, you're gonna know the approximate amount of time when it tells you, after doing this a couple times, time it. Turn it on, let it do its system, turns off. Okay, it's 7 minutes or whatever time it is. More importantly, so that you don't overshoot, because this doesn't have a system that says you're at this level, stop. They do have a system that does that, but not this right here. So what you'll wanna do is, for the first few times when you're deflating and you've picked your perfect deflation pressure, turn that on. Keep in mind, when you turn it off, check it, let it stabilize, stop your watch. Check, okay, it's still at 22. turn it back on, start your watch again. Do that a couple times and you'll be able to, after a period of time, skip the whole, what is it? What is it? What is it? And just let it run to this time and then go, bump, and go, yeah, I'm there. One of the things I wanted to make mention, and I said very much at the beginning talking about this for a second, but didn't complete the statement, is that you'll see this gauge. If you turn it on and the air's flowing through, you're gonna see numbers 1, 7, 5, 8, 12, whatever. It's gonna be like, digga, 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 digga. All that is the system is reading the pressure as it's passing through. That's not a proper detection of what you have going on. So when you pop that, you'll be like, oh, I'm at 12 PSI. Turn it off. Most of us know this. I'm just telling maybe the 2 people that aren't sure about this, but just giving them a little bit of a help, is that when you turn it off, let it sit, stabilize. Oh, it's at 22. Turn it back on. Let it blow out, let it do its thing. Turn it back off. Oh, 18. Keep going. Come back. 17, 16, 15, whatever. Once you figure out where you're dropping it down to, 20 PSI, 15 PSI, 10 PSI, once you've figured that out and that's where you're running at, then go ahead and shut it off, let it stabilize. Now here's the cool thing. What's it stabilizing to? All 4 tires. All 4 tires will be stabilized to that exact pressure. So what's cool about it is when you do let that air out, we're gonna make sure that they're all equalized. Well, we're not gonna make sure. This is gonna make sure for you. And that's why it's called the easy FLATE. It's easy. You're gonna run that, it's gonna deflate your tires, you're gonna get them to that perfect PSI that you want. And once it's there, you lock it, make sure that it's stabilized. Then the clear point that you're going to do, and I say clear because you have to be very clear on this, is don't go over there and blow the lines off of this regulator that you're done. Go around, pop off your back tire, pop off your front tire, then pop it off. All right, so you got it in here, you got it running. Go pull them off. You pop it off of here, now you just released the Kraken. You have let the air from those tires start to come out even more, and you have unequalized pressure between the tires because you just let out about a PSI or 2 before you realize, oh no, I shouldn't have done that. So once you get them in there, they're gonna look like this for the most part, right? Go around, unplug them from your tires, then unplug them from your manifold. Once you've done that, wrap them up, put them back in here, put your caps back on, you are done. That is simple. Put this guy away, go running around, bouncing around, doing your fun stuff and having a great time. Once you're done, bring all this stuff back together, plug it back in the same way I told you. Literally do the reverse that I just said. Plug it into your system. Now you're here, you're going to inflate. So go ahead and check to make sure that this guy is set to open. Plug this in, lock it in, then plug in each of your hoses. Go to your tires, plug in your front 2 tires, walk around to this back, get your back 2 tires, call it done, easy peasy. Turn this guy on after you've connected it to your battery. And you don't have to do that until you're really close to starting the inflation process. But once you get this in, plug it, get it on your battery, get it ready to go. Before you flip this switch, set the PSI. Before you hit multi, because that'll turn it on, go to your Jeep, truck, off-roading vehicle, go to your car too. You could do this with a car too if you really want to. But turn it on, hit the multi, inflate all 4 of your tires. And the cool thing about it is you don't need to babysit. Set it here, set it, and forget it. Turn it on, go grab your favorite beverage of choice while you are inflating your tires because you just sit back and relax, drinking a few, talking to your buddy while he's running around, inflating each single tire. Hey, Tom, how's it going? Yeah, that tire looks a little low. Why don't you put a little bit more on that? No, okay, all right, do your thing. You got it. Wait, you got this tire too? Okay, no worries. Brrr, you've just finished. I'm thinking 7 minutes later, you're done. Guy's still working on his 2 or 3 other tires, running around with his air compressor. Now, you're like, hey, what about those onboard systems? There's one company that most people will trust with onboard systems. I am not an expert, but every time I've looked at those, they're expensive. This costs a pretty penny, but I think it's every bit worth it so far. I have got to test it out. We will do also a future test on this to see how it goes and how it does. And we'll actually do a proper review on this. This is mainly an unboxing and talking about what I think about the build and the build quality and the style. And I'm really liking this. But I will tell you, and you probably are asking, yo, Ken, why'd you buy this one? And even though I said something at the very beginning, right? I was like, it might be from a Chinese company and might have, brought over to the factory and they put all this stuff together. I watched a video on YouTube It was probably some months ago, and I think it was before I bought my Jeep, but I knew I was getting a Jeep. I mean, I had a feeling I was getting a Jeep, because I mean, Jeep. And I was watching a video, and there was these guys. And one of them had this, and I remember because I'm ex-military, MOAB, mother of all bums. And I was like, yo, MOAB, that's cool. Nah, I wasn't that excited about it. I'm a realist. I'm looking at it and I'm going, okay. So they brought like 5, 6, 7 different compressors. It was super non-scientific, but it was pretty much apples to apples and comparisons from what I saw. And they brought out like the Smitty built, they brought out a couple other little dudes, and they were like, man, this little dude works, this guy works, this is working. But when they brought this guy out, and I'm trying to remember if it was the MOAB or it was the all-top, but it was kind of like same difference, 10.6 CFMs. When I saw it, and I am almost sure it was this guy, when I saw it, even those guys, when they were doing their version of a review, take 4 or 5 different compressors, put them together. Let me show you as an example, like this guy down here. You'll take this little compressor, right, that you get that's meant for like a car and you got a little bit of a leak or something and you want to do a quick top off. This is going to be perfect for that. But that's not necessarily going to work for a Jeep. I mean, it might. Probably not. But it might work for a Jeep when you're topping off. Maybe you're trying to jump up 2 PSIs or whatever. But they were running this and they were just in awe of how quick it was working, how much volume it was moving, how fast it was filling up the tires. Months go by, and I'm still doing some Jeep research because I'm buying this guy, or I'm hoping to buy something like this pretty soon. And I knew for 2 years that I was probably going to get this guy. I was so enthused about how this thing is working and how quickly it worked. This was somebody's daily driver, and they went off-roading a lot, that they would take this constantly and deflate and reinflate their tires. Now, they did do the test, I believe, with the single line, and they were just impressed on how quickly, and it was like 2-3 minutes it would fill up a tire from very low PSI to the top. It was just like, oh my God, that thing worked great. I'm not sure if they tested this system, but this made so much sense too. I've done a lot of reviews, and the 2 main factors that I really love about this that I'm going to test out, and I won't need to test, I understand. It's physics, it's science, it's information. The 2 main things about this is, 1, the volume and the equalization, meaning that because this runs 10.6 CFMs, you try to put it on a single tire and press that multi button, it's just going to overheat, get hot, it's going to be an issue. You're going to be putting way too much power and pressure into a small Schrader valve. This guy, set it to a multi, put it on 4 tires, you're doing a whole lot better. It's going to run at its max capability, and it's going to fill up these tires in record speed. So, love that idea. And I love the idea that a lot of people are like, oh yeah, well, just get a bigger compressor that'll do it a whole lot faster. Nope. That valve will only run to about 2 CFM. You can't go any faster unless you find a way to introduce volume a whole lot quicker. With that, seeing that this also has 4 connections, you equalize. Not just be able to, with a large compressor, fill up the volume quicker, also on top of that, equalize. Meaning, when I set it to 30, 27, whatever that number is, all of those tires are that same PSI. I'm not worried about, and guys, you know, you've gone with the single one. And if you don't have an automatic setter, right, you're like, you know, you're over at the gas station, you pull it off and 34. Dang it, needed 32. Go over here and it's 31. Dang it, you know, it's 38 over there. And you're like, what the heck am I doing? This guy, plug it on all 4 tires. Actually, it'd be nice to do all 5, but who takes their spare tire off-road? All 4 tires, fill them up, equalize, done, good to go. The second factor with this is not just the volume and equalization, but time and effort. Don't get me wrong. When you're out 4-wheeling, if you're out camping, the general consensus is that unless you're actually leaving camp, a lot of times when you're leaving camp, you still have to drive for a period of time. If you're leaving camp, you're taking down your tent, you're putting everything away, you're cleaning your dishes because you had breakfast. You put all the stuff away, camp it, put it all together, and get everything squished and shoved back into the Jeep, not in the same position it was in, and you're just like, how the heck did I get all this in there in the first place? Now you got everything packed, finally, you're out of there, semi-frustrated, and now you got to hit the trail on the way back. Generally speaking, there's some distance on that trail. So your tires have got to stay low and flow so that you can go and grip on stuff and get back where you are. Go to the trailhead, then you're filling that up. I'm not trying to lug around something heavy when I've already been beating myself up trying to do all this stuff and get it together, and then trying to make sure I'm not trying to fall off the side of a mountain and anything driving down it. I just want to go ahead, click, click, chick, chick, brrr, drink my beverage while I watch everyone else work their butts off. And I sit in the Jeep with the air conditioning on, drinking a coffee or the heater on because it's winter. I could not wait to get this because the most important things that I need to do before I go off-roading, and I am almost there, is a good inflation system. I had an okay inflation system. I had a small compressor. It works great, but it's a single tire, and I'm not sure if it would have lasted all 4 tires, especially if you are doing a multi-trail in a single day. What I mean is a multi-trail where you get off the trailhead, and then you have to get on the road. And you're not gonna get on the road with 10 PSI. You're gonna crank those babies back up to the proper road pressure, you should, but at least above 20 PSI. Get out on the road so that you can drive down to the next trailhead and then get back on. If you're 5 minutes down the road, you're gonna drive slow and low and get there and do it. I'm talking about something where you're going to another trailhead 10, 15 minutes down the road or more. You're gonna have to fill up, get over the trail, drop them down again, go through the trail again, get to the trailhead, fill it back up again. You got a single smaller, it looks like this, but it's a bit smaller than this. You do that multiple times, yeah, it's not gonna be fun. With all this, this is the unboxing. I love the fact that you got this guy, and you can get this independently, and you will use this as in the single. When you purchase this guy, you use this, and you'll set that to a single mode, and you'll fill your tires up, and this thing will rock at filling those tires up. But you'll take it to the next step, because if you bought this so that you could get the power in this, because it's got 90 amps, and this thing's going to be moving a ton of air, you're going to graduate from this to this. I strongly recommend if you get this, and you're already invested into this, get those. Get that. There's another system they have where you can purchase where it's all built in. You can also relieve the pressure to a certain level and then fill up to a certain level. Get that instead if you want to get that. This, along with this, and of course the manifold, you have to get that to get this to all work together. That's how you do this, and it works great. I'm a super big fan. I know it'll work great as soon as I introduce this and get this going. So get this guy first. If you're wanting to take it in steps, get this guy, get your manifold, get your hose system, get it all together, put it in your Jeep. Now, onboard air type of system where you can mount this, I might find myself mounting this at some point in time, maybe hardwiring a nice 0 gauge wire from the front of the vehicle with a lockout system. Probably, I won't run it through my fuse because I think those are 60 amps max and this thing needs 90. So I'll probably run something manual that I'll run through the system, because when you're gonna need this to fill up, you don't need some digital thing. I might do that at some point and mount this somewhere in the vehicle, maybe underneath a panel if I can. As it stands right now, this is gonna work great. In this bag, I might be able to put this all the way inside of here, because I know that that'll fit in here. There is this zippered pouch in here where you could probably put the manifold. You put those hoses in there because I don't need this. I can get rid of that. This is pretty darn stout. The only problem I see with this is it's not gonna fit underneath my seat in my Jeep. The cool thing with the current compressor is it does fit underneath my seat. So I may have to keep these in 2 separated compartments. Now I do know that there was a mention of this bag not being very stout, but my gosh, it looks really stout. I don't see how this can't be a stout bag in here. This is really nice. Maybe they switched up and got a better bag later, but right now, this is a very stout, very heavy duty bag. That's pretty much it, guys. In short, there are some main factors when I go off-road that I need. A good air system and a winch. Once I get my winch, I'm gonna get a new bumper, and actually I think I'm gonna get the same factory bumper, but the steel factory version of it, get a winch in it, and then I'll feel fully safe to go off-roading, at least with me and my wife or by myself. If I go wheeling with some friends, I'm fine. I know that I'm gonna be able to be recovered if I get myself stuck. The nice thing is I'm pretty much almost all the way there with this Jeep, because that is a Rubicon on 35s and it came from the factory that way. It's got a good lift, it's got some good tires on it, it's got a good capability already built into this Jeep over other items. So just need to do those few other things. I am part the way there. Once I get that winch and all that, I'm gonna be able to go and do some off-roading all by myself. Take my wife, go way into the woods and set up some tents and stuff like that and be really excited about this. So guys, I hope this was helpful for you. I really do appreciate your time, and I'm out.